My name is Neil Patel, and I help companies generate more revenue through digital marketing. Entrepreneur Magazine said I was the #1 marketer in the world, and they also said I created one of the 100 most brilliant companies. I started my first website at the age of 16. I took all the money that I earned from working at an amusement park, and I paid a marketing firm. The marketing firm provided no results, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone. Out of my frustration and from being broke, I had no choice but to learn marketing. My first client was a power supply manufacturer. I helped him generate another $25 million in sales, and from that point, I realized the power of marketing. I helped everyone that I could, and I built my reputation by being honest and over-delivering. I've helped companies like Google, NBC, Viacom, General Motors, eBay, but nothing's more satisfying than helping small business owners succeed. I founded 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and I've learned all the mistakes that you should avoid. I've written about them on Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Fast Company, and even on my own blogs. It's so awesome to know that colleges from all around the world are teaching my material in their classroom. Over the years, I've received awards from the President of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the United Nations. People believe marketing is expensive and difficult. Fortunately, that's not true. There is a formula. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, you can get results. And my mission is to share this formula with you.
Good evening to all, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is our second webinar among Neil the Game series, and today we are going to be covering a very interesting topic in the world of e-commerce marketing. The action plan today is going to be talking about all the key steps in the world of e-commerce marketing that a small and medium business or an established business has to go through. To cover up the topics, we've got eccentric speakers from Neil Patel Digital India. We've got Mr. Abhishek Girdhar. He's our Vice President for Business and Operations for Performance Marketing Division, accompanied by Venkatesh Subbaiya. He's our Director for Performance Marketing, and your moderator, Kabilan, out here. And we're going to be having a very interesting 60 minutes moving ahead, where we'll be covering up chief topics of play. And I'm passing the baton to Abhishek to take it forward. Abhishek, over to you, please.
Thank you, Kabilan. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second webinar of Neil the Game. This is Abhishek Girdhar, and I'll be covering a few very, very important aspects of e-commerce marketing. So let's get that started. All right. So we are starting with a very quick understanding that, who will be understanding and, getting the benefit out of this, webinar today. So first of all, e-commerce businesses of any size, whether you are the marketing head or you are the CMO or you're the CEO, or the, technical person, you are going to get some benefit out of this, right? And then the brands who have been seeing a recent drop in ROS and looking to scale up their businesses and improve their marketing share, we are here to help with this webinar. And also at the same time, new marketers and advertisers who are looking up to level up their marketing strategies. So all in all, you guys are going to get the lot of insights from this webinar, which you can help and implement in your businesses, which can help you. All right, so what are we going to cover today? So quickly giving a snapshot of what are the things that we're going to talk about today. First of all, starting with the right marketing objective, which is very, very key important part of any business strategy that we do. And deciding a right objective is the first step, which we need to be clear on, right? So we're going to cover the marketing objective that we're going to, how to select, and what are the marketing platforms against each marketing objective that you do. Further, while juggling between all these things, we also need to figure out that, how we improve the campaign performance. We are going to talk about some really, really good practices, which are very small in nature, but can make a big impact. Followed by the UI UX practices that can improve your campaign performance, followed by the creative practices, whatever assets you're using in your campaigns, what are the best practices which can give an immediate impact in your campaign performance, followed by how we can improve the customer engagement and ultimately leading to the profit margins, because that's the main battle in the e-commerce business today. So we're going to talk about that as well. And we all know festivals are around the corner. So how do we gear up for festivals? We're going to cover with that. And later, towards the end, we're going to park some 10 minutes to take all the question and answers that we're going to do question and answer sessions, and keep posting the questions in case you have anything. And, Kabilan will take up the questions towards the end of this webinar. All right, let's straight away get into the marketing objective part. And before we get there, let's quickly understand the e-commerce trends that we have in India, especially for e-commerce. Now, if you see, these are the D2C market size that we have. We currently stand at $12 billion, right? And if you see the breakup, grocery and gourmet is actually leading the chart. And if you see, how we are trending for next 5 years, it's going to go multiple fold. So 4,451 million market, $1 million market is where we stand currently, and it's gonna go to 24,000, which is basically six times of where we stand in 5 years, right? Followed by apparels and footwear, which is anyway, most of us do shop, right? And the fact is that we do discovery on digital, but we end up also buying in the stores, right? But so hence this play a very dominant role in increasing your market share. Then followed by personal care, electronics, and so on and so forth, right? So all of these markets, if you compare, by end of 2027, are going to grow up multiple folds, at least 6 to 7x all of the market sizes, right? Now, if we look at the businesses in these categories, how are they divided between the brand side, marketplace, or offline? Now, this is a survey which was done by ShipRocket, and we could clearly see that current domination is marketplace like Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, and so on and so forth. I just want to tell everybody that we're gonna talk about marketplace also in our upcoming webinars. So if you are very interested in this marketplace marketing, stay tuned, and we're gonna be back soon with the details of it. However, coming back to the shopping behavior of our audiences, right, in different categories, D2C, which means direct to customers from your website, is actually improving, but that largely depends upon the kind of website you have, the performance is there, the kind of messaging that you have. But still, people do prefer to buy it on the marketplace because of the huge share that marketplace have already built, plus at the same time the experience that they give, right? So in order to improve the market share of your business through your website is largely we're going to cover today. Now, a very interesting fact, and we might be talking about 3 years back data where we used to say that, okay, 70-30 ratio, which is 70% male and 30% female. But gone are the days, right? Because 2 out of 3 new internet users which are getting added in last 1 year are actually female, which means the penetration was there with the male audiences earlier, but the female audience is drastically increasing on internet. So now who to target, and what sort of messaging and what sort of campaigns that you need to run. Parallelly, urban market has always been penetrated by internet users, right, because of the facility, availability, and so on and so forth. But if you see, 3 in 4 in new internet users are being added from rural marketing, right? So don't miss out on adding and rural market in your campaigns. It's a very important market for you to tap, and it's a new market, unexplored market. So I think this gives a lot of understanding how the user behavior is changing, and we're going to see that in the coming slides as well. Now, while we are seeing these facts, like I mentioned, the first point for us is to decide the marketing objective. So I would say, the first step to start any marketing campaign for you is to zero down your marketing objective. Why? Because and most of the advertisers we work with and we have seen, and of course we make sure that our clients are educated enough by us to understand how this functions, because you don't have to confuse yourself with multiple marketing objective, right? If you have multiple marketing objective, you need to manage it accordingly, right? So we're going to talk about how you come to the marketing objective, how you zero down the marketing objective. So 3 very key important points. One is, start by analyzing brand and category current marketing position. which means, let's say, you are a new business which you are entering into the market, let's say personal care, right? So you need to know that, where do you stand currently in the category? And are people looking for your brand? Are they searching for the products and services that you have? Are they searching for your XYZ brand on Google search engine? If not, then you need to first build your brand positioning, right? So you start with the point where you search for your own brand keywords, whether it carries some volume, weightage or not in the market. Where is your competition standing, and what is the overall category size which is there? So that's a starting point where you need to know, where you will have the reality check that where the category stands at the moment. Second very important part is that, is your category competitive and requires a brand loyalty? Because if there's a brand loyalty, it means that you are either going to increase the market share by expanding the market itself, or you are going to enter somebody else's territory, right? So it's important for you to understand how competitive and how loyal that category is, because if it requires loyalty, then you need to build up the brand. You need to build that relation with the customer so that they start believing in you, they know about you, and you are there to provide them the right solution. Followed by the product and service customer cycle. You need to know and realize that, is your product a high value product or a fast moving product? Because fast moving products, usually do not require that level of consideration. But high level product, high value product requires a certain amount of consideration, which means, you will have to end up building more relation and you need to have more patience. So that's really, really important. And of course, few other points like how long it takes for your product to go off the shelf, and so on and so forth. So these are very, very important points that you need to decide. Now, while you get close to your marketing objective, while considering these factors, you also need to have very clear KPIs which you want to set in your campaign objective. And when I say KPI, I'm saying that you need to have a quantitative KPI, which means if you have performance as the KPI, if your objective is performance, you need to know whether your KPI is revenue, whether you want to focus on improving the revenue, or you want to focus on improving ROS, or you want to focus on improving the average order value. These are very, very important factors and KPIs that you need to consider while you are deciding the objective. Now, let me just help you, understand what kind of different objectives could be there, and how do you actually, set the right KPIs and certain other matrices. Now, let's start with the very important objective, especially for the business who are new in the market, and the businesses who are, let's say, 2 years, 3 year old in the business, right? So it's very important for them to understand all different stages of the brand. Let's start with the awareness. Now, awareness is usually done to introduce your brand in the market. It's a big, audience size which is out there for your product, right? So you need to know that, what is the right TG for you. And then you need to make sure that, the people, that audience, they are aware of your product in the market, because that's the starting point to establish a relationship with your prospect, right? So start with the awareness, where your ultimate objective should be to build the brand imagery and top of mind awareness. Why? Because, if you want user to buy your product, they're not going to just buy the product just because you're showing the ad. They're going to buy the product because they have been introduced to the brand before. They know the brand story, right? So awareness is really, really crucial. People need to know about your brand, and they need to have the top of mind awareness while they see your ad for sales or consideration, right? And usually the KPIs that you should focus on in the awareness is the reach, because awareness is meant to reach out to the larger set of audience. So when you are setting up the awareness campaign or deciding your marketing objective, make sure that you are maximizing on the reach. And of course, other cascading KPIs like impressions. If you're using the video assets, views are very, very important, because you will end up, if you're running a campaign, if you're not getting the views, it means your brand story is not told. So you need to keep that also in mind, and improve brand scores. Now, brand scores you can measure if you are running awareness campaign, whether there's a spike in the brand search volume, or while setting up the awareness campaign, You can set up the BLS, which is a brand lift survey. So if you are seeing that, your brand scores are going up through survey, it means the job is done for awareness, right? So it's important that way. Now followed by consideration. So when you're setting the objective of building consideration largely means that, if user is considering to buy a particular product in a category, they are also considering your product, right? So how do you improve your consideration scores? You will end up improving your share of voice, which means if let's say a category has a total market size of 100,000 users, or let's say 1 million users, what is your share of voice, which means how much traffic you are getting on your website, how many impressions you are able to capture it with that 1 million or 2 million searches which are happening, right? Or the interest categories through other platforms like Facebook, programmatic, and so on and so forth, right? In that case, your KPI should be clear, that your CTRs are good, which means you're reaching out to the right TG. If your CTRs are above industry benchmarks or at par, it means your message is clear, you are reaching out to the right TG. And then the CPCs, it means you have a mix of all platforms which are giving you the efficient CPCs. And if the traffic is good, it will make sure that your bounce rates are not high. You are basically under the bounce rate benchmarks of different industries, and the time spent is decent enough that user is able to get the knowledge and the information that we are providing to our users on that page. Now, followed by sales. Now, I know the biggest pain for all the e-commerce marketers like yourself focus on sales. And while you're focusing on sales, we always say conversions or different words we want to use. So how do we measure the KPIs in such a case? Now, the biggest challenge with most of e-commerce businesses is that we are trying to control a lot of KPIs at the same time. Why and how? Because if we are running a campaign, we believe that we want to increase the sales, yes. We want to increase the number of orders, yes. We want to increase the order value, yes. And the same time, you also want to increase the ROS, right? So we need to set our priorities right. We need to set the priorities in order. Whether I want to increase the number of orders, of course, that will lead to increase in the revenue as well at the same time. But we also have to make sure that we are prioritizing it correctly, because if you're focusing on ROS, then you might end up compromising on the volumes, the revenue. So let's have that house in order basis the priority and what we want to target, what is our a priority, and then we move further accordingly. Now, the last element of customer life cycle or funnel or whatever you want to call it is post sales, which is where the e-commerce game starts, to be very honest, because first three stages, we usually, all businesses do focus, right? But where 90% plus advertisers, brands do not focus is the post sales journey of a user, because all these stages, awareness, consideration, sales, is focusing on acquiring new customers, right? But the customer base that you have already acquired, how do you retain them? How do you engage them? Or how do you get more sales out of that, right? So that's very, very important. And we're going to talk about this in little length in the coming sections that we have, where we will say that how to improve the engagement and customer life cycle. But yes, the KPI should be very clear, that post-sales activity that we do, that how do we bring the users back, which is your returning users, and lifetime value of a customer. Because in first three stages, like I said, you're emphasizing on acquiring new customers. But post sales, make sure that if you have first sales, let's say revenue is 1,000 rupees, but to be honest, that you have already acquired that user. So if you have spent 1,000 rupees or 5,500 rupees to acquire that 1,000 revenue, that cost is not going to be the same, because you are continuously interacting with the customers in post sales. So it should go down. It's basically in a way organic by keeping the audience engaged. We're going to talk about it a little in length in the coming slides. Cool. So once we decide on the right marketing objective, very important that we also decide the right platform, because every platform serves a certain objective. There are platforms who serves the multi-level objectives as well, but it definitely depends on a lot of factors, like different ad formats, targeting options, and so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about it very briefly in the coming slide. All right. So awareness, like I mentioned that, awareness is going to focus on maximizing the reach for you, top of mind awareness, which basically introduces your brand, and you have the opportunity at this point to basically introduce your brand and build that relationship with the customer, with your prospect, and so on and so forth, right? So let's start with programmatic as your first channel. Programmatic basically, is a automated, in layman words, is a ad platform which basically brings lot of DSPs together, lot of ad networks together, right? Like we work on Google platform, it has a GDN, Google Display Network, right? It's one ad network of Google. But when we talk about programmatic brings lot of ad networks together at one place, which means it multiplies the audience sizes for you, which is available on the programmatic platform. So we always say that, if you are doing the awareness, you maximize on your reach and do utilize the programmatic platform. And we work with Media Match. We are, India partner with them, and, we get the support from them to help us, scale up the programmatic campaigns for all our clients as well. Second is YouTube. YouTube could be a very great platform for you to tell your brand story, because awareness, when it comes, videos are the best ways of, video is the best way to narrate the brand story. The messages can go out very clearly in the video rather than, we're talking about banners, right? So try to use the format like TrueView, because it basically you end up maximizing the reach also, but also at the same time you are able to buy inventory, which basically on a true view, which means you can buy, you can pay once somebody views the entire video, which is less than 30 seconds, right? And try to keep the video length less than 30 seconds. Followed by social. We all know that everybody's in social media, so that's the perfect platform to go. The only catch is that you should always try to have a brand story video of less than 15 seconds, because our retention on social is very low. Retention, when I say on the content that we are viewing, we move very fast, we keep scrolling, right? So try to keep your story short. We're going to talk about some creative assets also, how you should plan the assets, which are basically the best practices to make sure that your message is clear and understood by the audience. And then plan some content collaborations. You can find out relevant influencers for your brand, and try to build that connection with them, and make sure that your content which is created is more organic, and you can also have some brand partnerships and collaborations with lot of platforms which are there out, right? So these are few things which are must, but of course, a lot of things would changes, the composition would change basis the requirement of the business, right? But all in all, you should definitely look at these platforms, which are very, very relevant to build the awareness for your business. Coming to consideration. So in consideration, social tops the chart. We have done a lot of surveys, we have seen a lot of surveys, and we have found that, social is one platform which basically helps you build the maximum consideration possible. And I would say that, utilize formats like carousel, single image ads for consideration, and try to have short video stories if you can push that for consideration as well. But, this will really help you build your consideration scores, and try to have clear objective of, driving traffic to the website, because consideration, the audience will get to know more about your brand, more story about your brand once they land to your website, your landing page, your microsite, whatever you're targeting, right? So try to have a clear CTAs and try to run the campaign with the traffic as the objective. This will bring the user onto the website. They'll be able to understand your product and services better, and they will further consider it when they plan to buy. And this audience will really help in retargeting, at the same time, convert them, on your website. Followed by YouTube. YouTube, I've already talked about it, but very important that, in this case, we additionally suggest to run the bumper ads, because they are really, really impactful in driving the traffic. Short 6-second video, and you tell the story and bring the traffic to your website for further details, right? So that's important. I'm so sorry. Followed by search. Now, Search, we usually say that, it's a high intent platform. Yes, it is, because the audience is actually searching for that. So it definitely helps you build the consideration because you are actually targeting the category keywords. Let's say, if you are a personal care business, right? And you're providing hair oil, right? For hair growth, let's say. So if somebody's searching for uh, hair oil for hair growth, let's say on Google, right? So you might want to show the ad because that user has not searched for a particular brand. But it means they are considering, they are trying to find, which brand, which product they should buy. So if they see your ad, they're definitely going to consider it, right? And then cross category also, because personal care, as example we are talking about, is a very vast category, right? If somebody's talking about, how to, improve the hair growth organically, right? That can be one way of building the, uh, your consideration scores and bring the traffic, because indirectly you're selling your product. And cross category could be, let's say, if somebody is searching for a flight, right? And then definitely they want to book hotel if they're traveling, right? So these are cross category which can help you build some consideration as well. Followed by display ads. Basically, you utilize the in-market audience, behavioral and custom audience here, which means in-market audience is the audience who is already, in market of that category. If I am basically looking, or if I am a traveler, right? You might want to show the ad of your platform which says that, why don't you book flight from here? So I would know that, okay, this platform exists, which basically where I can go and book the tickets. So that can really help you build the consideration. But at the same time, shopping ads is the most crucial part of building consideration for e-commerce brands, right? And that's where, advertisers spends the most, and that's where we will spend some time in the coming slides as well. Keep in mind that when you're running the shopping ads, you're using the automated product feed, because a lot of businesses make mistakes by doing a manual feed, right? There's nothing wrong in manual feed, but you don't want to spend time on something, which is where it is not required. You would rather spend time on something which where you can, where manual effort is really required, rather than something which can be automated. So we will talk about the feed as well in the coming slides, but try to use the product feed to run the ads on all platforms like Google, Facebook, and I think they have evolved a lot. We will talk about feeds in little length going forward, but try to automate that. Now, conversion. So when we talk about conversion, you largely uh, end up getting more conversions, with the pool of audiences that you have already created. So, we sometimes feel that, oh, Google is a great platform. Search, we're getting the conversion. Facebook, we are getting the conversion only from this particular campaign. But if you go deep, you will find out that, those campaigns are able to generate business for you because that audience pool is already there. Hence, remarketing becomes very, very important for you, right? So make sure that your remarketing, funnel is created right. Your remarketing campaigns are set right, and you always have high priority on remarketing campaign. Try to bid a little higher, 20% extra on remarketing campaigns, because that is a smaller pool as compared to the awareness or consideration. And the intent is already shown by user because they have already visited and considering your product. So try to bid 20% extra for such a pool and bring them back onto the website, because the competition is right out there standing and taking away your and ready to take away your audience, right? So that's something is very, very important in the conversion stage. YouTube, we have seen some great results coming through discovery ads. Discovery ads basically will ensure that, the segments of audience that you have created, you are able to target through, mail ads, and, also on YouTube, you must have seen the banners on the right hand side. So basically bumper ads, discovery ads would ensure that, the right messaging is shown to the user via banners as well, right? And the copy that you need to show it to the user. And that basically improves your, conversion rates, because that pool is already there, and the targeting option is already there with the custom intent and so on and so forth. So do utilize the discovery ad and bumper ad format of YouTube when you're targeting for conversion campaign. Now followed by search. In search campaign, we go very specific in conversion campaigns with the brand keywords, because as you evolve, as you grow in your business, your brand search volume tend to increase. So don't miss out on that, because if you're not bidding, somebody else is bidding on your brand keywords. So you have to make sure that, you are there with your own brand keywords, and of course the category keywords, because not everybody is basically, sure about the brand. So they are searching for generic keywords, which can result into the sales. Followed by shopping ads. We would suggest you to continue with that. We can talk about it in length going forward, but it's the most essential part of this campaign. Now coming the most important part, once we are through with this, is the CRM activity, which is done largely for the post-sales activity, which means all the users that you have acquired by spending large sum of money through awareness, consideration, as well as your conversion campaigns. There's a certain cost to it, right? So it's important to retain those customers. It's important to build the relationship with those customers. So use some marketing automation to do that, because of course you can't do that manually. So there are a lot of tools in the market like WebEngage, CleverTap, Netcore, and so on and so forth, right? Which can help you automate your customer engagement. And they also give you the features to personalize the communication with each of your customer. Basically, you can segment your customers through these tools basis the category purchases or the amount they spend on the website, time they spend on the website. So there are a lot of features available which you can utilize, and you can automate the communication with the customers. It's very important. Educate them about the category and focus on building the brand loyalty. Give them the reason to come back. Why? Because if you are not in touch with the customer, they are again going to go back and explore for more brands. And anyway, the brands are also there to, find out the customers who are already into this category. So to build a brand loyalty, it's very, very important. And also because, in the coming future, first party data is going to play a very, very crucial role. So building a relationship through some marketing automation post converting the customer is very important. So basically you end up spending a lot of money on top of the funnel to acquire a customer, then just automate it to retain that relationship. Now, a healthy mix of reach and awareness is must, right? We've talked about different objectives, your awareness, consideration, conversion. And I know that, most of the e-commerce businesses are going to focus on building either consideration, or largely their spends are going to go on performance, which basically focuses on, driving sales. But keep in mind that, sales can be generated mostly through the pool of users that you create. The users who are coming to your website are not going to buy in one go. It doesn't happen like that, because there are a lot of options available to the user in the market. So they're going to consider multiple brands. Hence, you should also at the same time keep focusing on, creating the audience pool, which is basically on an average, if you have, let's say 10 lakh of a budget, try to park 20 to 30% budget on creating the audience pool, which basically will ultimately lead to targeting in the sales campaign or consideration campaign. But you need to focus on creating the audience pool, focus on, like I said, giving the brand story, to the user, why you're there in the market, what purpose you're solving, why your brand is essential for that user. If you're giving these users to the audience, they will consider your brand. That's very, very important and essential point. And at sales stage, there are only reasons to buy, but they need to know about your brand before. Hence, certain pool of audience should always be worked upon. Cool. So now once we are, setting the right marketing objectives, some, platforms and templates and so on and so forth, ad formats, important is how do you set up the campaign and improve the campaign performance. So we will a little bit focus about on that as well. And I'll have Venkatesh, talk about it. Venkatesh, over to you.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, team. Thank you for the huge insights. So like Abhishek mentioned, so, you identified your objective, you identified your KPIs, certain KPIs. Now, what all KPIs is very important in this, e-commerce marketing campaigns, right? Every stage, your awareness stage or your consideration stage or sales stage, certain KPIs are very important. Say, there are few KPIs we mentioned here. The first KPI is your click-through rate, right? So why your click-through rate is very important, because how your audience is reacting, right? Say, for example, your Google campaigns are high intent based campaigns, right? So is my keyword is correct? Is my ad communication is correct, right? Is my audience are landing to my website? Am I getting relevant audience? From this particular CTR, you can measure how your audience are reacting on the website, like, post click model, right? So this CTR is actually very important metric for the any e-commerce campaign. And second important metric is, the conversion metric, right? So you are enabling the, conversion based campaign. You have to set up before starting any campaign. Your marketing pixels accept plays a major role. That too now after this iOS 14.5, lots of tracking challenges and attribution challenges, you have to focus on implementing your server to server side conversion, the conversion API implementation. Plus, again, on the Google side, the conversion tags implementation, everything you have to check, because you are spending huge money on your marketing campaigns. Am I doing right campaigns? My campaign is leading to right audience. This audience is converting on my website, right? So the conversion plays a major role, so that you can optimize whatever campaigns performing better. You spend money on the best performing campaigns, then your non-performing campaigns, you can slow down the budget. Now, the other important metric is the cost per conversion. The cost per conversion, always like Abhishek mentioned, if you're a new brand, right, you focus on, you get more high cost per conversion, right? You have to focus on getting more and more audience side, more awareness side. You have to build, like, the traffic campaigns, running campaigns on social media, especially on Instagram Reels campaign or story based, different formats you have to try, right? So if you are facing any high cost per conversion, means the audience is not reacting to your campaign, which means there's some problem in your audience, or the problem in the campaign structure, or your brand need more awareness, right? That's the cost per conversion is very important. And the cost per new visitor, like every new brand, what is my cost per odd acquisition, the new visitor acquisition, right? I'm spending good amount of money on campaign. Am I acquiring the right set of audience? Is my audience's lifetime value worth, right? We have to capture those moments. For that, the cost per new visitor mechanism is very important to track, how my cost per landing page view, or what is my cost per newsletter sign up, right? Those metrics are actually very important in this to track the right KPIs in the e-commerce marketing.
Yeah, thanks, Venki. So, like Venkatesh mentioned, the right KPIs, right metrics are very important, right? Because we have seen with 60% plus advertisers that they don't have the, KPIs being tracked. They don't know what CTR is. They're not able to track the cost per conversions. The conversions are not being tracked. Pixels are not placed. That can actually take a toll on the performance completely. So when you're setting up the campaign, the first thing that you need to know is the right metrics that you want to track. And we talked about all the metrics in the previous slide as well. Basis the objective, you are making sure that you're tracking all the important metrics as per your brand goals in your system. All right, Venkatesh.
Yeah. So now, like Abhishek mentioned in the previous slides, consideration stage and the conversion stage, the shopping campaigns, be it your Google campaigns or your Meta platform, Facebook campaigns, the feed optimization is very important. This feed not only supports your paid campaigns, this feed supports your organic growth as well. Sometimes if you optimize your feed, your product may list in your Google Shopping free listings as well, right? Like Abhishek mentioned, you should not do always on manual feed. You have to automate the feed where proper attributes in place. For example, we are doing festival campaigns. I want to target audience who are supporting say Valentine's Day, I want to run Valentine's Day chocolates, right? I want to sell. So I can add Valentine's Day as an attribute, plus additionally chocolate as my product type, right? There are multiple attributes involved here. Say for example, Diwali festive, right? I want to sell saris, festival saris. I can add supplementary feeds like, Diwali as a keyword and the festival saris as a multiple other tags as well. So those kind of, manual feeds will help in optimizing the campaign. Plus very important thing, like I mentioned, the feed automation is very important. Sometimes, your product may go out of stock. You have to that time, you no need to show out of stock products in your Google shopping campaigns or your Facebook catalog campaigns, right? So there actually the feed optimization is very important. Plus very important is, adding the right relevant keywords in the additional feed. You will get good click-through rate for your generic terms, because these all shopping campaigns are automated campaign, right? After smart shopping mode to performance max, you have option to optimize your feeds so that you will get better click-through rate in your shopping campaign, which leads to your good click-through rate, and that will click-through rate convert into your high conversion rates. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah, so this is actually a very important funnel, the shopping behavior analytics. Any e-commerce brand, pre-click model or post-click model or the post-sales model, the shopping behavior analysis is very important, where we can identify the actual user journey where I'm getting drop off. Say, for example, this particular screenshot, you see there are more users on your home page and the product category pages. But after product category page, if you see, there are huge drop off from product views page to add to cart page. There are 95% drop off in product page to add to cart page, and add to cart page to checkout page, and checkout page to, the conversions are not happening at all, right? Most of the e-commerce brands, what we observed, we studied that, they're facing challenge in the add to cart to the final phase, right? The drop offs into add to cart and the conversion. Now, say like, in the post sale model, certain CRMs, Abhishek mentioned, right, your Web Engage or your Mo Engage or your Clever Tap or Netcore, those tools actually help in getting the returning users back. Say, for example, I added one product to cart but not purchased, right? We can set up rule, right, in the Web Engage or Mo Engage platform that, you will get automated email reply or automated WhatsApp automation. Those automations plays a major role, and the returning users back to your website and get the conversion done, right? And very important thing, I want to run remarketing campaign, those who added to cart but not purchased. I can set up the custom audience, those who visited through my organic channel or direct channel or referral channel. I can set up with this custom segment and push this traffic to your Google Ads and run a dynamic remarketing campaign, where every brand, every e-commerce marketing brand, they have to first and implement this shopping behavior analysis to understand their audience behavior. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Venkatesh. So hence, a marketing funnel is very, very crucial. You can basically set up the ideal user journey, which is your category to product to, add to cart, checkout, and final success page. And then you will know where your users are dropping. You find out the reasons why users are dropping by using some heat maps and all. And then, finally, you can make the changes and also automate it through different tools that we talked about.
Yes. So this again, once you are, identified your campaign setup and everything, we have to focus on the right campaign structure. Most of the brands fails in this, they don't have, when we audit multiple e-commerce campaigns, we face this challenge that, they don't have right proper setup in their Facebook campaigns or Google campaigns, or, there are huge campaigns they create, and, the audience pool is also very, very less narrowed audience, right? What we have to follow is, before setting up any marketing campaign, building the right campaign structure is very, very, very important, right? So now the structure, you are seeing structure 1 and the structure 2. The not recommends structure, if you see, there are multiple campaigns, campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, campaign 4, right? And the ad set also, there are different ad sets. There are 4 or 5 ad sets they are creating, and the ads also, what each ad set, one ad level ad assets, right? If you run with this first structure, what will happen is your budgets will go, thin, right? Say, for example, I have 10,000 budget. I have to create, 10 set of different set of campaigns. There, your audience size is very higher side, but you are also giving tool machine to not giving any performance, the 1,000 rupees each campaign, right? So that way you are unable to understand the audience. You don't have any option to also collect the data and capture the right measures, right? So hence we recommend the second campaign structure, which is very simple campaign structure. If you see any marketing campaigns, any accounts, we observed that the simple campaign structures actually performed better than, there are, multiple ad sets or ad creatives. What we are recommending is, there are three set of funnels, right? One is awareness funnel, and your consideration funnel, and your conversion side, right? In the awareness funnel, you have to run, with one campaign with, one ad set targeting huge broad audience segment with different set of assets. Say, for example, your catalog assets or your single image assets, or plus you have to add in this single asset, you can run multiple set of assets. Say, for example, Instagram story as a separate placement, Instagram reel as a separate placement, like that. Multiple options you have to give in each placements to give the audience to perform. See, most of the times what we observed, especially in the awareness side, the Instagram reels plays a major role. We get good video views, plus additionally the click-through rate on the very good side, right? Plus additionally, where you have option in Facebook to engage the different set of audience, such as, those who engaged my Instagram page or Facebook page or like that. So we are recommending that the simple campaign structure always plays a major role, getting your campaigns learning phase to active phase very quickly, right? So that's why we mentioned the point number 2. If you see, the avoid frequent changes during the learning phase. If you make multiple changes in the learning phase, the campaign the mission keeps learning, what kind of changes they are, budget changes or audience changes or ad set pausing, enabling, changing the creators. Those things will actually hamper your campaigns. And plus additionally, like we recommended, you have to run with different set of assets, ad assets in the placements. Next slide. Yeah. Same for Google, but the major important thing is you have to group your campaigns. That plays a major role in getting your click-through rate on good side, and quality score and optimization score plays a major role in Google campaigns. Why? Because if your campaigns are properly grouped, say, for example, take e-commerce brand, right? Say, they have multiple set of sarees, say festival sarees, or Kanjivaram sarees, or Paithani. There are multiple fabrics actually they are talking. We should not mix those all keywords into one group, right? What we have to do is, you have to talk about communication about the Kanjivaram sarees in one ad group. That product keywords also should talk about the Kanjivaram sarees. That landing page also match your product category. That actually helps in improving your quality score. Plus, if your quality score is good, then the CPCs, the ad rank will improve. That will lead to the quality audience visit on the website. And very important thing, the bounce rate and the average time spent, also very important metrics, right? Platform like Google, it's very intent platform. Your bounce rate on also, and if the right campaign structure is very, very lesser side, I think you can capture 50% bounce rate is a metrics you can see on the Google AdWords, right? The search campaign structure plays a major role. You have to group the campaign and get the better results. That helps in your high conversion rate. Next.
All right. Thank you, Venkatesh.
Yes.
All right. The next is very, very key important point. Again, very, businesses do not emphasize on this, but I would love to emphasize on this, is the Google conversion attribution models. Now, all of you guys, when you see the performance, you always see at the end that, okay, how many sales Google gave, how many sales you got from search, how many sales you got from Facebook, which campaign, display, shopping, blah, blah, blah. So you basically try to bifurcate the numbers accordingly. Now, that is a model which is usually a last click model which everyone follows, right? But that is basically leading to measuring the campaign performance in isolation. Please do not do that. We do not advise that at all, because user is not making the purchase decision on your website by just interacting with one of your ad on one of the platform. No, they are actually interacting with you multiple times and through multiple platforms, multiple mediums. Because if you're active on Google or programmatic and social and search, they are basically, they can come to you for the first time from any of the medium, right? And they might come back again from any other medium as well, right? So you will ultimately attribute to the last click, platform. But what about the contribution, the first platform who got the new user to your platform, right? So that is a very, very important point. So do set up the last click attribution in your Google Analytics to understand that which platform weighs what kind of role. You will easily understand it's just couple of clicks away to set up this model, and you will know that whether the platforms which is seeing that last click is not giving you the results. You might see different story through a data click attribution, and hence do not take decisions just by looking at last click attribution, because this can result into immediate drop in the performance. Okay, now these are few important points that we talked about, setting up the campaign, have right analytics, have right feed, set a funnel, and right structure, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, once the user is coming onto the website, you need to give a right experience also to the user, no matter how much optimized your campaign is. But if the user who is coming onto the website is not getting the right experience, they're going to go away, right? So some fact check for everybody. One is that 40% of the people go away from the website if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. So, the first thing that you guys need to do is check the website load time and also the Google web score for your website, right? You will know that, where do you currently stand and how do you want to, improve the scores. If your mobile page load time increase from 1 to 10 seconds, the probability of user navigating away goes up by 123%. This is a lot, because more than 70% users are actually coming from mobile devices. So we need to keep that in mind. 1 second delay in load time results in a very significant 7% drop in conversion. So every second matters. Conversion rate goes up by 5.5x with personalized experience. So the tools that we mentioned could help you personalize the experience for your users, right? So if somebody has browsed, let's say, X category or and Y product, we can simply personalize it using these tools. When they visit again, they are seeing the products that they have seen in the past. So what better, we could do for our users to simplify their journey on the website. Now, keeping these facts in mind, 72% of the web traffic is mobile. Now, this is a, traffic scenario of Indian market, right? So, and for most of the e-commerce businesses, actually 80%, 90% plus. We have seen for a lot of our clients that, the traffic that they're getting is maximum from mobile, as high as 93, 94%. So you guys need to think mobile and make the pages accordingly, make the user experience accordingly. So the first thing that you need to do is check the web analytics and optimize the experience from where you get the maximum traffic. If you're getting the traffic maximum from certain screen size, certain mobile, as a mobile also whole, you first need to focus on mobile, journey improvement. That's the most essential part that you need to do. Second is switch to one-step checkout. Now, this is a very, very important part of user experience, where, most of the e-commerce businesses have created a very long journey for the users. They are on a category page or a home page. They are forcefully taken to the detail page, and then from detail page, they are taken to the cart page, and then the sign up page, and then checkout page, and then the payment page, and then reaches the thank you page. It's a long journey. Nobody has that patience. So we need to, switch to one-step checkout. User on the home page, category page, product page, anywhere the user is, they click on checkout and this immediately land to this page where they are providing their details, and the payment also happens on the same page. And only ask for the relevant information which you need from the user to make sure that the product is delivered, absolutely in a right way or shape. So other than that, try to avoid information if possible. Get rid of sign up process, please, which means that, right after somebody is willing to, buy the product, we have seen that, a lot of websites have mandatory sign up process. Do not have that. Remove your sign up process, because sign up process is one of the biggest resistance that user has in today's time. And a lot of drops that we have seen from add to cart to checkout and conversions is because of the sign up. So sign up is biggest, resistance for the user. Get away with that. All right. Very important is a minimalistic design. Try to keep the base light, white or negative space with limited color palettes actually help, right? It also, in fact, if you are using less colors, it also improves the website performance from technical standpoint as well, which means your website will load fast, right? There would be less responsive issues and so on and so forth. So try to keep the design minimalistic, base as white. This will help improve the, performance of your website. Last and very important is the clear CTA. A lot of time we have seen that, the CTA colors or the size, either the size is too small, the font size, or the color is actually same as, we have used the colors across the website, right? So how do we differentiate the CTAs is very, very essential. So try to keep CTA colors, shape, placement, differently from, what you usually follow on the rest of the website, right? And your copy should be clear and on point. All right. So now you basically have set up the right campaign. You know the best practices for the website, but you don't know that, what are the creative best practices, because that's where the journey of a user starts. That's where user will actually start, interacting with you. So some of the few best practices which can improve your campaign performance are as follows. One, video length. If you're using the videos and of course we all know that, videos have become a very, very important part of advertisement, because you are able to explain the brand story in a much better way, right? So if you are using the videos, try to keep it short and direct. Your point of view, or what you're trying to explain about the brand, should be direct and bang on, right? And the suggested video length that we have is less than 15 seconds for social platforms. Some of the platforms, no, it's not that, if you upload a video of 30 seconds or 1 minute, it will not support. It will. But the best practice for the best results is to have less than 15 seconds. So second is, if you're doing on video on YouTube, it gives you opportunity to basically, have it until 30 seconds, that because the buy type is such, right? But try to keep as short as possible on YouTube as well. Now, very important thing, which and a lot of brands do mistakes about these things, is that, they do not introduce their brand. It is a very important part, because user who will let's say skip the ad after 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and they are not even introduced to the brand, they would never know, right? So make sure that, in the first frame itself, your brand logo is there, right? So that the brand recall is maintained. Introduce your brand protagonist for human connect and brand recall. Whatever ad videos you create, make sure that, you have some protagonist. If you have human faces, it will build the connect with the brand. And user who tend to skip the videos, that skip rate would go down immediately. Try to introduce in first 5 seconds the human protagonist that you have. Now, you also have to make your videos compatible with sound off, because most of the ads that you would see on social media specifically, the devices are kept on mute, and without without sound, you're not able to deliver the message that you want to give. So hence, make sure that your video is also compatible sound off, which means you have the necessary captions also in your video. So if you see left and right example, left, you can't read what is there, but on the right hand side, it clearly states that from farmers to your door, help fight food waste, right? So it creates that impact immediately, and your message is delivered even though the user is on mute. Now, your business offers should be stated clearly, which means that, your brand proposition, your offerings should come as early as possible in the video. Try to put captions wherever necessary, and also your brand proposition should come in the first 5 seconds. Now, if you see in this video, best fitness in the city, right? It clearly states that, this is my brand proposition, right? So you have to ensure your brand proposition is clear and and introduced as early as possible in the video. Clear call to action has to be there towards the end of the video. What do you want actually user to do for you when you're showing the video? For example, if we want to say that, shop now on this website, or search for this brand, or visit our website or store at this location. So you have to make sure that you leave your video or finish your video with some call to action at the end, so that user know what they have to perform, what action they have to take. All right. Going next with improving customer engagement and profit margins. Remember, few slides back, we talked about the customer funnel starting from awareness to consideration to sales and then post sales. That's where I want to emphasize. Customer life cycle helps improve business, their profit margins. Now, if you see first 3 stages of the business, objective, awareness, consideration, and sales, they are primarily focusing on acquiring new users and customers, because awareness will emphasize on maximizing reach, consideration will maximize on getting the traffic, sales will emphasize on getting the order and the revenue. But what happens after that? That's the most important part, where you can actually improve your LTV. Sorry, where you can improve LTV, which is basically lifetime value of a user. It means if a user you acquired through first 3 stages and you spend, let's say, 1,000 rupees to acquire one customer, and the revenue that you generated from that user is also 1,000 or 1,500, let's say 2,000, right? You basically, 50% cost actually went into acquiring that cost if you generated a revenue of 2,000 rupees. But how do you generate more revenue from the same user is where post sales play a very, very important role, which is basically by automating the marketing of all the post sales customers, because you have the database, you have the first party data, which is basically email address and phone number. You can easily interact with those users. Now, how do we do that? Now, in that stage, now if you see, search and, cart abundant and, first purchase, review, and so on and so forth, this is all your paid campaigns will take care of, right? But, you can't do cross-sell and upsell through paid campaigns. Of course, you can do that. That doesn't stop, right? But can this be optimized? Yes. If you have to spend another 1,000 rupees to get a sale of another 2,000 rupees from the same customer, then what is the point of having that data in your database, right? So you need to emphasize on having the marketing automation set for your business, so that automation helps you, do cross-sell and upsell, get more purchases, and then also land to some loyalty and rewards. Basically, you can introduce some cash, give benefits like referral, segment your audience. If it's a repeat purchaser and, high ticket value customer, you can give them as a VIP status, use different kind of cards for your customers. So these are the things that you need to do. And you can easily segment it in these tools, that the user who is not coming back from 30 days, 60 days, how do you reactivate that user? How do you, on what basis do you give the loyalty points to the user, rewards to the user? So all of these can be automated. Your manual work will go down. You have to spend one-time effort in setting up all these funnels and automation, and rest you just focus on, emphasizing on getting and acquiring new customers. And something like this, just for everyone's understanding, that if you have customer data, you can actually create customer profiles, and you would know at which stage the customer is. If you see the event box, you know that order was placed in this date, this time, and then coupon was applied, add to cart was done, and then email was sent, and blah blah blah. So all of the actions you can actually take through these automated tools, and you would have customer persona created at the same time. For example, the guy John has provided all the details to us, right? We know which device he's coming, which model he's using, on which date did he sign up, what is the amount that he purchased for. So basically, what we are saying here is that you can actually save a lot of money if you have the marketing automation in place to improve your customer engagement and also your lifetime value. So that is where your profit margins improve and increase. A sample use case for all of you guys is that and this is something that we recently implemented for our one of our one of our client that they were not able to sell relevant product and services. They used to get the ticket value was decent, and the cost of acquiring was high, and the concern was that they were not getting the repeat purchases. So we basically created a goal of cross sell the relevant products that fit into the behavior, because they had some database. And then we did some personalization, and then initiated some engagement campaigns, and that actually resulted into a lot of improvement in their revenue. They have started seeing that the repeat users, the users are coming, and we are not targeting the same user from campaigns now, because that's another huge cost to get the users back. Now with this automation, you basically bring down the repeat purchases or repeat users to pennies actually, right? So that's the power of this, and that's what we need to implement in e-commerce businesses. Another thing before I actually land to festival piece is one thing that you can also do through your campaign by to improve your profit margin is improving the average order value. So try to create different campaigns with high ticket value product and low ticket value product, and run the campaign separately. Set the priorities right for different campaigns. That will also start helping you improve the average order value or the profit margins. Cool. So the next point is gear up for festivals. So Venkatesh, why don't you pitch in now?
Yes, Abhishek. Thank you, Abhishek. So if you see this gear up for festivals from the September to next March, we have lots of festivals, around the corner, right? Some of the timelines, if you see from this, Dashara 5th October, and this Navratri on this 26th September, it starts, and Dhanteras at 23rd October, Diwali at 24th, and the end of end of year sale, and the December. Plus, additionally, you have, in the January month, you have again in the South India, the Sankranti, and from February, Valentine's Day, March, again, the wedding season starts, right? There are lots of festival season, and brands started activating their marketing campaigns 6 weeks before, right? If you see some of the, if you see Dashara as a 5th October, what we are seeing, some of the trends is that, from all India, if you can go to previous slide, yeah, we are seeing special focus on the pan India. Plus, additionally, some of the focused location is Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, West Bengal, right? The same for your Dhanteras or Diwali or your end of year sale, we have to focus on pan India campaigns. Plus, additionally, always you have to focus on the metros and some of the Diwali, especially Diwali and Dhanteras on north markets, right? So this actually plays a major role where you can plan your campaigns in advance. And the next slide, actually very important slide, where you can see the actual heat map, right, on the demand capture side. If you see this survey, especially last year and previous year survey, the audience are planning to shop 6 weeks before the festival. Say, for example, Diwali is next October 24th, the audience has started planning their purchase activity for their home, right? We are seeing that 43% of the audience actually planned for the activity 6 weeks before, which is your September, and this September and the September 1st of actually they're starting their the purchase behavior. This actually helps your brand to start your marketing campaigns very early, not focusing on the last minute sale to running some kind of marketing campaigns, where most of the brands also acquiring, say brands like Myntra or Amazon or huge brands are also running the same audience what you are targeting, right? So for us, actually the opportunity is to start the marketing campaigns early so that you can acquire audience quickly. Plus, additionally, your marketing cost, if the cost per 1,000 impressions, actually always on festival time, the competition is high, you end up paying high CPMs, right? Now, if you start your marketing calendar properly and what products I have to target and everything in planned, so that you acquire, you reach more audience, you will get better CPM rates. Yeah, next slide. Very important slide. This is the full funnel approach, for the new brands. the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, pre-festive, festive sale, and the post-festival, right? In the pre-festive, what we can immediately start the marketing campaigns with the awareness objective to reach more audience through your YouTube network, YouTube Shorts, or your Performance Max campaigns, or your Facebook catalog campaigns, or like that. You can plan multiple awareness campaigns to get more audience on board, more audience visibility, right? Here, the important metrics, you can track your video VTRs and your click-through rate and your CTRs and the quality metrics, your cost per new visitor, everything you can profitably track in the pre-festive season. And very important thing in the Diwali season, what you can also plan that, who watched my video in this build awareness stage, who visited my website, who engaged with my Facebook page, who is following on my audience following on my Instagram page. Like that, multiple audience buckets you can create and target with this Diwali the conversion communication with your existing audience, right? So that helps in reaching quickly. And this audience are very quality audience rather comparing to your new prospect audience, right? The drive conversion, the conversion based campaigns you have to enable on the festival sales campaign. And now the festival is not only Diwali, right? The post festive also you have to plan for, the especially end of the year sale, right? Most of the, again, marketplaces are from the September to next December. Lots of activities this marketplace big giants are played, right? Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra or Nike or Tata Click, lots of brands played multiple activities, right? You have to acquire customers. That's why we are always recommending acquire more audience in your awareness stage so that it will help. Say, for example, in Christmas stage, I have to send personalized emails to my existing customers about my new product launch. You can send email marketing, you can send notification, you can send WhatsApp communication, so that your cost per conversion also on the lower side on this, post festival season. Plus, additionally, you have to continuously build those audience in the future, say especially the Valentine's Day and the New Year sale and the wedding season, the March season, again the summers for the April and May, right? So this actually the festival timeline you have to follow, and every brand must follow the marketing calendar, right? So you have to plan priorly your marketing campaigns, which product you want to sell, and what is my average order value, what all and the customer, which location is fruitful for my, right? That's so that we can plan proper marketing calendar. That marketing calendar helps your performance marketers to create a proper campaign structure, right? So this phase actually plays a major role. That next 6 to 8 months completely brands are started a huge amount of spends in the marketing campaign, and we have to immediately quickly start our marketing campaigns. Yeah. Next slide. Yes, very important thing to the festival landing pages, right? And plus again the communication around the festive. If you see this particular brand, any brand, any e-commerce brand or retail brand, they talk about they create their product sets into their category pages. They create separate landing page on the category pages on their website, and they send users to those pages. So if you see the example, Ganesh Chaturthi, this brand actually did a marketing campaign for e-commerce site. They clearly mentioned offer communications in the top strip, like Ganesh Chaturthi festival sale is live, flat 70% for 15% off, use this code, right? You are running festival campaign on your Google ads and Facebook campaigns or performance campaign with the offer communication. And again, they're landing onto this particular page. They don't want to land to home page or any specific page, so that the distractions, they immediately exit. Sometimes if you see the product pricing and they compare also, right? We have the clear communication here, and the user click on this product and they go to checkout page and quickly they buy the product, right? So this actually the category pages we have to create, say Diwali sale or end of season sale, or your multiple festivals, Valentine's Day sale, right? How to plan the separate landing page and the microsite where you can talk about the festival communication and the relevant products. Very important thing in the next slide, if you see the bundling the products, this helps improve your average order value, right? So rather than focusing on one or two, three products, what we can also plan is we can plan bundle the products. Like I think some of the audience commented how to get the B2B corporate sale, right? So what you can do is you can run bundle the product, and you can run proper campaigns in your search network. What to increase the average order value, what we can do is we can create a separate gifting section. Plus additionally, this section will help you in increasing your average order value in your festival season times. Plus additionally, you can also run upsell and cross sell, right? So you can run in, especially on Meta platforms, you can run cross sell campaigns and upsell campaigns to increase your average order value. Yeah. Next slide. And this is again very important time. Lots of brands actually miss this. They don't mention the checkout, the offer codes in the properly into their marketing communication. In their website also, they don't have any proper communication. So by seeing the price, audience also compare in most of the websites, right? The comparison websites, and they compare the product price. Wherever they get cheap, they go and purchase there. What we have to do is some of the mechanisms we have to involve to improve our conversion rate. Right. The first thing is that the automate festive checkouts, right? If we have some sort of 15% code or 20% code, let's not enter the code manually. Whenever user added that value product, say, 5,000 above this 10% off, the code should automatically apply on the checkout page, so that the drop-offs will not be there in the the checkout pages, and so that you will get the high conversion rate. Yeah. Next
Okay,
slide.
thank you, Venkatesh. Yeah.
Yeah, and very important thing, this actually the cart abandonments, like we observed in the previous slide, right? Lots of add to cart abandonments and checkouts, and the final conversion is actually very less. What we have to do is nowadays, tools like WhatsApp automation tools actually help you convert your audience into quick state. Say for example, some of the campaigns like abandonment checkout campaigns or order placed COD. If you see lots of brand customers order COD, but they don't end up paying, and the orders also return. So if the customer abandoned checkout, we give this communication to their WhatsApp communication with the call to action button. Please make this purchase, get additional 10% off. Right, so that the customer usually, rather than paying COD, they just go and pay through prepaid. They will get additional 10%, so that you will not face any RTOs and RTO problem, and also the products you can easily fulfill. And very important thing again, the COD orders you can convert, and is there any charge? You can also promote through your the audience who are sign up with you. You can run WhatsApp bulk, WhatsApp broadcast campaign if you're launching any new product, right? So those informations will actually help in getting the high conversion numbers, right? And the next slide, if you see the communication, very important communication, every brand follow with the offer communication, and very importantly the festive themed. Your website, importantly, your website, your product pages, your catalogs, your ad banners, your search copies also must include your festive communication, and with clear communication, right? Say for example, Myntra handbags 30-50% off Diwali sale, right? 100% safe delivery, and visit once they land on this product category page. We should not land them again users on the home page. We have to land the users on the product category pages. That will help them user to convert quickly to the add to cart stages and checkout stages and the final conversion purchase. Yeah.
All right.
Here we
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you.
So I think just to summarize on festive prep, it's the time. We have already landed in the month of September. There are a lot of festivals around the corner, right from this month until New Year's, right? So we have a lot of festivals coming up, and we need to start working on the campaigns now, because brands have already started doing it. Because your emphasis should be on creating the audience at the moment, and then try to convert them into the customers as we move along, right? So focus on that, and that brings us to the end of this webinar. Over to Kabilan, and if there are any questions, I am happy to answer, Kabilan.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, and thank you so much, Venki, for an elaborate session today. There are quick questions that has been asked by our attendees today, 2 live questions, which I thought I'll share it across to you folks for an answer. The first question is, this is from a corporate gifting prospect. And he would like to understand how B2B leads can be generated, considering that his products are more visual worthy, right? So what do you think can be an ideal setup out here?
All right. So I think it's a great question, and we have been working with some corporate gifting clients for some time, and this is the time that we have also activated the campaign. We carry a lot of learnings from the past, also in this category. So corporate gifting is something that people may not buy it immediately from online, right? Because it's usually a bulk purchase where they might be purchasing it for 200 employees, 300 employees, 500 employees for the organization, right? So your objective should here be to generate the lead from that set. But how do we make sure that you're using the quality lead? That's one. Second is you are giving a better experience also to the user. In such a cases, our strategy usually is to create a listing like an e-commerce website only. So what usually is done is that instead of giving an option to purchase right away, you make a listing on a landing page where you have basically put all the bundles or individual products, whatever you have, with all the clear segregation of categories. For example, if if you have a category of personal care, stationery, or some electric items, and so on and so forth, you basically categorize it on the microsite that you have specially created for festivals, and list down the products like an e-commerce listing, and have call to action of generating an inquiry through that. That will be very effective because you would know that first of all, you're giving good experience for the user, to the user, that what are the options and the variety you have. That's one. Second is, a user can actually ask the question after looking at the listings and after looking at the options that are there on the website, which means they have basically shortlisted what all products they need. So if you do that, you will also know that what are the products that the audience is looking for at, or the prospect has inquired for. So if you know that, that will create more leads for you with a great experience, and the quality of lead would also be higher. At the same time, utilize some platforms like LinkedIn. LinkedIn email actually works really well, and LinkedIn lead gen also can be done at the same time if you have the listing created, and utilize platforms like search, and also social media that can help you solve the business problem.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we've got the last question for the day from Prashant. And his question is about the unique product code that goes behind the SKU. So how do you think that can actually help you with the right tracking or ranking when you run a performance marketing campaign? So how important is it when you go for a high SKU based websites?
Okay, so basically UPC, if I'm not wrong, you're asking for Prashant. So UPC is basically GTIN, right? Which is a identifier, unique identifier. UPC is, I think, mostly used in North American market, right? And every different region has different names to it, right? So it's basically GTIN. It's important. It's very important. Why? Because every product and category has a unique identifier, right? So if you are able to put the unique identifier to your product, only if you can, don't just create your own identifiers, because that can mess up with the performance as well. So if you have the GTINs, please put those GTINs. That will help Google put the product into the right category and also help improve the performance. If the GTINs are GTIN or UPC, you want to call it, is incorrect, it can lead to the rejection of the campaign. Your campaign might get disapproved. And also it helps you improve the organic performance, because Google knows that this is the category and your content is optimized. It improves your chances of ranking as well as the performance.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. So that marks our end to the Q&A session for the day. I'm really sorry we have to keep it short because we have overshot the time by another 30 minutes than what we planned for.
I'm so sorry for that.
No problem at all. So we've got a lot of questions from our attendees who registered with us. So all those questions will be answered to you over an email. We'll also be sending across to you this particular session's recording link, and you can refer across to it. And like Abhishek and Venkatesh mentioned, the business season is around the corner. In fact, we've started it out. And if you have any kind of assistance required in the world of performance marketing, feel free to reach out to us. please do visit our business website. That is neelpateldigital.in, and you can fill in any contact us form that's right in front of you. And my team members will be in touch with you to help you through the entire process. As far the Neil the Game web series is confirmed, so we have the third session that's about Amazon Marketplace optimization. So we will be covering the topic on 14th of September. That's exactly the next Wednesday. That's one of the pretty interesting topic that we've got a lot of upvotes to get covered for. So any questions the current attendees you may have around the world of Amazon, feel free to reach out to us over the email where you receive the credentials for this particular meeting, and we'll be happy to have them answered during our next session. So until then, thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you once again, Abhishek and Venkatesh, for putting in your efforts and time to educate us about the e-commerce world, as well as how marketing can be played out, the 101 of things. And you want to think big, please think about Neil Patel Digital India, and feel free to reach out to us anytime through the day. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a good evening then. Thank you, folks.
Thank you for joining. Thank you, Kambilan, for being so patient.
No problem at all. Take care, guys. Stay safe.